Mic check, mic check. What's kicking, family? I'm glad you've clicked in so I can check in with you. What I'm going to kick it about is NBA playoff basketball. And I'm talking about the New York Knicks. It's been 10 years. Is it 10 years? 7 years? Man, I'm getting the years mixed up. It's been so long since we've been in the playoffs. Somebody out there just hit me and leave the message down there to correct Mr. Batch. But before I get into the current games of the New York Knicks, I'm gonna start off on a nice little high note. Now check this. Now top Knick playoff performances: 46 points. Bernard King, 422-84 versus Detroit, and again Bernard King, 419-84 at Detroit. 45 points. Patrick Ewing, 512-90 versus Detroit. 44 points. Ewing, 5-4-90 versus Boston. Then you had Bernard King with 44 on 5-11-84 versus Boston. And then King again on 4-27-84 at Detroit. 43 points. King, 5-6-84 versus Boston. Willis Reed, 4-2-69 versus Baltimore. And, of course, the latest high-scoring Knick in a playoff performance was Mello Anthony, 42 points versus Boston in a loss. Hate to say that it was in a loss, but as you know, we didn't have Chauncey Billups, and we had lost Amari Stoudemire midway through the third with back spasms. What kind of numbers we had here? Now, Anthony made 14 to 30 shots, scored 26 second half points, and grabbed 17 rebounds. Great output. You're supposed to win games like that. But then again, also, it takes a team effort. So he needed some help. Kind of rough when you don't have Mr. Big Shot and Stat in there alongside with you. Stick that over there. Boston played a tough game. Rajon Rondo went off in the first half in that game. I believe both games we could have had. There was a chance to take them definitely in the first game. And I also believe our chances were great to take them in the second game. Coming into the second game, you figured that, maybe, you could get them, and that the Celtics would come back with a renewed fervor, vigor, and determination not to let that happen. But we could have got them. Now, what's going to happen? Game 3, I don't know. Got to hold serve at the Garden. That's what we have to do. We got to make sure that we can hold serve, and then see if we can steal one from them. We got to go forward and try and get one of these. We hold serve at our place. I know they're going to say it's difficult that we haven't beat the Celtics in the Garden in like 10 years. Now's the time for it to change around. And the way I look at it, I thought things was going to be pretty dismal with Chauncey going down. But with the way that Tony Douglas has stepped up, played pretty hard. He had to show and prove with Mr. Big Shot going down, and I think he did a commendable job. But we need Landry Fields to step up as the 2. He's kind of disappeared as the season's going on, and you got to pick up your game. As you know, throughout the season, and especially here in the second season that's known as the playoffs, you have to pick up the slack someplace else. And one key thing that you guys are going to see is you're going to see defense being played. You know why? You have to make stops down at the other end in order for you to come out with the win. Now, over the last 2 games, unfortunately, Doc Rivers has outcoached D'Antoni. What's going on here? I don't know. I'm going to wait it out one more year. He's made the playoffs. Let's see what happens when he has a full camp under his belt with this crew, and then take it from there. But then again, you're a professional coach, and you should have been able to work through all this stuff. So We're going to leave it at that. I just want to see how far my team can progress in this series. And can they snatch a victory out of the jaws of defeat going 7 games? I wish they could do that. Okay, but moving right along into the rest of the playoffs. As you know, last night, Kobe and company got revenge on Chris Paul. Played the physical game, and they got that one. That series is 1-1. They needed that one. The point output from Kobe and Gasol was not that great. And normally when they score like that, you figure that they're not going to win. But their defense had clamped down on them. San Antonio took on Memphis, and they got that game. Now, they needed to even that series up because you couldn't take another loss, especially at home. And what was helped by them was Manu Ginobili coming back from an injury and sparking the Spurs to a victory. Now, the Spurs are a different-looking team. They've been revamped. You got to give it to Popovich and the organization down there for San Antonio that's had them in the hunt, in the playoff hunt for, his entire career. His entire career spent going to the playoffs. First, he was teamed up with David Robinson, and now he's the man in the middle. But I got to hand it to him. They've been doing their thing in the playoff runs. Now, Chicago versus Indiana, that's been pretty rough, man. Chicago's been having a rough go. Come on, you're supposed to cruise through this. You're the number 1 seed. You're supposed to be crushing the 8 seed. Now, without Rose putting up those numbers and doing what he does, I don't believe Chicago would get anywhere near where they're at now with a 2-0 lead over Indiana. Now, Miami versus Philadelphia, that is something. Miami's just, whomping them. There's not too much to say about that. I think that might be 4 straight. Orlando versus Atlanta. Atlanta got Orlando, and then Orlando got Atlanta. Wow, that's a 1-1 series. Orlando better look out. This is a great playoff series this year for the playoffs for the NBA because all the games are key games. Normally, I would look at a playoff series and, coming in, I would say, okay, all the top seeds are going to advance. No, not this year. A lot of these contests are going to go to 7 games. Let me not forget about Dallas versus Portland. Now, Dallas is up 2-0. Portland can make a run at them. Out of all the contests, I thought that Portland would be the team to do the upset and knock out Dallas in the playoffs. That was the only upset that I was looking at besides the Knicks, taking it in 7 games. I wouldn't call that an upset. I would call that a coming out party for the Knicks once that happens. But this is Mr. Batch on the NBA playoffs. Great watching them this year. All exciting games, and it's enjoyable for a change. I'm out. Peace.